This is the Phuket News Hour with Tim Shaw. Join the conversation on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Phuket Live Radio.
Hello and welcome to the program. Singapore celebrates 50 years as a republic. We go to Pakistan and look at the death and tragedy as a result of the current monsoon. A ransomware. What's a ransomware? You'll find out why it's cost computer users hundreds of thousands of dollars, and a secular blogger in Bangladesh murdered. All this and more here on the Phuket News Hour, brought to you by the Kids Club Phuket. Stay tuned. We'll bring you all the stories that count. We'll cross to the Phuket News Centre for the local and national headlines, and we'll also check out the BBC World News. Stay tuned to the Phuket News Hour, brought to you by the Kids Club Phuket. Lots of news on the way.
The news you need to know. This is the Phuket News Hour with Tim Shaw.
Blogging can cost you your life. Suspected militants armed with machetes and cleavers entered an apartment building in Bangladesh's capital, Kolkata, and hacked to death a secular blogger in the fourth such deadly attack this year. The dead man, best known for his atheist views, was killed at his home around noon in the Dhaka neighbourhood of Goran. Let's cross to the Voice of America for this report.
Another secular blogger in Bangladesh has been hacked to death in Dhaka. Authorities say 6 unidentified men Friday used machetes and cleavers to kill 40-year-old Niloy Chakraborty at his home. A police official says the assailants tricked their way into his house. Niloy, who wrote for Station Blog and was known for his atheist views, is the fourth secular blogger to be murdered in Bangladesh this year. The Ansarullah Bangla team, the Bangladesh wing of Al-Qaeda in the Indian subcontinent, claimed the responsibility for the murder of Niloy. Secular bloggers who staged a protest march Friday to demand justice say they are living in fear for their lives. However, they vow their online posts will continue.
That report from Satcharupa Barua for the Voice of America, the fourth such murder, as you have heard. The police are investigating and the assailants tricked their way into the victim's house. According to previous threats that had been received, he wrote a Bengali language blog called Istishan, meaning station or railway station in Bengali. He used the pen name of Niloy Neil and was critical of fundamentalism in all religions. Blogging has cost him his life. An extraordinary story there from Bangladesh. More news on the way, and we find out about a horror ransomware virus that has cost computer users hundreds of thousands of dollars. That story and more here on the Phuket News Hour.
Missed something? No problem. Listen to the Phuket News Hour any time of the day. Programs posted daily on the PhuketNews.com/radio and on our Facebook page, Phuket Live Radio.
Attention computer users in ASEAN. According to a report from the ABC in Australia, Australians are paying thousands of dollars to overseas hackers to rid their computers of an unbreakable virus. Now, there's been a rise in the number of people falling victim to the latest version of an encryption virus which hijacks computer files and demands a ransom be paid to restore them. Now, the ransomware infects computers through programs, incredible-looking emails, taking computer files and photographs hostage. Now, IT technician Josh Lindsay in Australia said he was repairing computers now for 15 years, but the current form of the virus was, quote, unbreakable. It's definitely the worst that he's come across. Now, the hackers offer computer owners a chance to retrieve data, but only if they pay a ransom using the electronic currency Bitcoin. Now, according to Mr. Lindsay, if it's on Bitcoin, they can use it to purchase anything online from gold bullion to shares to property, and it's virtually untraceable. According to one victim, Renata Ukstar, said that she decided not to pay the ransom price. I just wouldn't pay it out of principle. I suppose there are people out there that have to because it's a business computer that's been damaged. Michael Bailey from the Tasmanian Chamber of Commerce and Industry said when his organisation was hit, a ransom equivalent of $350 was paid to overseas hackers. According to the Deputy Chairperson of the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, said that over the past 2 months there has been a spike in the number of people falling victim to the scam. The Commission has received more than 2,500 complaints and estimates about $400,000 has been paid to the hackers. And they think at this point that is the tip of the iceberg. What people have been warned is to take precautions when opening emails and to ensure good backups of any data that you have kept offline. Quite remarkable story from Australia. And in the ASEAN region, with the development of new businesses, having appropriate spyware and appropriate backups of your data is critical. This is the Phuket News Hour. More news on the way.
Your daily news fix, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. Only on Live 89.5.
The Kids Club Phuket are proud sponsors of the Phuket News Hour, and this Friday, the Jungle Disco Party at the Kids Club Phuket, directly opposite Jung Salong Shopping Centre. Jungle Fever hits the Kids Club this Friday evening. Get your party gear on and dance the night away. Come dressed as Tarzan or Jane, or perhaps a monkey or tiger. Be early to get your face painted in your very own animal or jungle camouflage theme. It all kicks off at 5:30 with face painting and games. You can get all the kids on the dance floor and do a dance warm-up. Best costume competition, jungle game, dance like an animal, congratulations and prizes, and free dancing. All happening from 5:30 at the Kids Club Phuket. Want to know more? Go to facebook.com, the Kids Club Phuket. Proud sponsors of the Phuket News Hour. The Jungle Disco this Friday night from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at the Kids Club Phuket.
Live 89.5, your island, your station. Live.
The monsoon weather that we've been experiencing in the Kingdom of Thailand pales into insignificance when you consider some of the surrounding nations in the ASEAN region. At least 170 people have been killed in Pakistan in this year's monsoon rains, and almost 1 million people have been affected by the floods. Thousands of acres of agricultural land has been destroyed. Coming to us from South Punjab, Shamar Khalil reports one of the worst affected areas. Let's cross to the BBC for this report.
Another year, another flood. Thousands of acres of land submerged. Homes and livelihoods destroyed. Nearly 1 million people in Pakistan have been affected by the monsoon season this year. For more than a month now, aid workers on rescue boats like this one have been shifting stranded people to safety. This family, however, refused to leave their home and livestock behind, especially after their sugarcane crop has been ruined this season. 25-year-old Samina says her extended family has lived on this land for generations.
We've been trying to recover from last year's losses, and now this flood has come and destroyed our crops again. This happens to us every year. We've been without food and water for weeks now.
This is the extent of damage the floodwaters have caused this season alone. The tragic part is this has been happening every year for the past 5 years, and experts say it will continue to happen if nothing is done to control the waters. Without the proper infrastructure, the dams, the reservoirs, these lands will regularly be submerged, and the water will eventually just go to waste.
And that is part of the challenge that we face, not only in the ASEAN region. There are expansion plans, certainly in ASEAN, for the building of more dams to be able to not only control agricultural water, but also to avoid flooding low-lying villages. We know that we have problems in Bangladesh, Myanmar, now Pakistan, and the death toll is increasing, plus the severe storms that have hit Taiwan and China. We'll look more at climate change over the next weeks here on the Phuket News Hour and try and get an understanding of what impacts it will have for ASEAN governments over the ensuing years. This is the Phuket News Hour. More news on the way.
Today's important stories and the island's best music. This is the Phuket News Hour with Tim Shaw.
According to the BBC, it was always going to be an extravagant affair. Singapore has held nationwide celebrations to mark 50 years since it became an independent state. Tens of thousands of people attended an outdoor parade, complete with flybys by the Air Force and a Singapore Airlines A380 airliner. Singapore became independent when it was ejected from the Federation of Malaysia amid social unrest. And in 50 years, the former British colony has transformed itself into one of the world's wealthiest countries. The BBC did a remarkable report, and you will not believe when you see the video the extent of celebration. But let's cross to the BBC for this report and go to facebook.com, Phuket Live Radio and the Phuket News, and check out the video.
It was always going to be an extravagant affair. Tens of thousands of spectators piled into the city centre to watch their nation celebrate in their most lavish National Day parade yet. Costing nearly $15 million, it's taken months to bring this show about. The historic Padang in the middle of the city centre was the main venue. Independence Day celebrations have taken place here since the first one back in 1966. Highlights included aerial acrobatics. Some 20 F-16 fighter jets formed the number 50 in the sky. And a flypast by a Singapore Airlines A380 jet adorned in the nation's flag colours. A massive military display showed off the nation's defence prowess.
Now, it's been quite a show. It's been amazingly choreographed, like all things Singaporean. But the pride that many Singaporeans are feeling here today is anything but.
Sharanjit Lale from the BBC with that report, and go to facebook.com Phuket Live Radio or facebook.com The Phuket News and check out that video. More news on the way. This is the Phuket News Hour.
Your daily news fix Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. Only on Live 89.5.
That's it for the Phuket News Hour. Don't forget, you can listen to the program 11 a.m. to midday, Monday through Friday. The catch-up program, 6 a.m. the following morning. And you can go to facebook.com, Phuket Live Radio or the Phuket News, and you can catch up with the podcast highlights. This program produced and presented by Tim Shaw using the resources of the BBC, Voice of America, CNN and the Phuket News Centre. Don't forget, we'll bring you up to date with all the local, national and ASEAN news, proudly brought to you by the Kids Club Phuket. Don't forget, this Friday, the Jungle Disco Party at the Kids Club Phuket, starting at 5:30. Have a great remainder of the day. Look forward to your company when we both get together again here on the Phuket News Hour. Bye for now.
This is the Phuket News Hour with Tim Shaw. Join the conversation on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Phuket Live Radio.